Okay. So, under geometry, what the acorn said when it grew up, G, I'm a tree. Okay. SWVA, students will be able to make translations on a graph. We're going to learn what translations are, then we'll be able to make them on a graph, okay? Get over this. So, translation is another type of transformation. We learned reflection yesterday, okay? Last 2 classes ago, not yesterday, excuse me. We learned reflection 2 days ago, last class. Now we're going to learn translation, okay? Translation means to vertically and or horizontally slide a figure. To vertically and or horizontally slide a figure, okay? Everybody show me with your hands and or arms what vertical is. What vertical is, okay? Vertical is this way, okay? Everybody show me with your hands and or arms what horizontal is, okay? This way. So if we're moving it vertically, we're going this way. If we're moving it horizontally, we're going this way, okay? Sometimes we'll be doing both, okay? A lot of times we're doing both. In symbols, you guys remember the x comma y yield thing we just did?
No.
We're going to keep doing that. X comma y yields x plus h, comma, y plus k. Now you're wondering, Mr. Swanson, what's with the h and the k? And I'm going to ask you to hold your horses, and I'll explain that in a moment.
Whoa.
Okay, yes, if you don't know where to look for horses, Gracie knows. So
In the back. Does that say watch this?
Ooh, call mom. Okay.
Bro, what if you just said that
sorry.
super loud and everybody's
Is
phones
that
went
K
off?
or
Oh, Michael
R?
Scott.
That's okay, yes, good question.
No one knows who Michael Scott is.
Michael Gary Scott.
I know.
Who's Michael Scott?
Main character.
Is that a K?
That Office. The funny guy.
Literally like the main
Okay.
character.
Dwight is still the best.
Creed's the best. I love Creed. He's the goat. Okay,
He's so, wait,
H-
Creed is the one that's like.
H
he's the scary
represents
type.
H represents the horizontal shift. So which direction was the horizontal again, guys?
It's
Side to side, left to right movement, right? Like the horizon, okay? Like the horizon where the sun sets, okay? So H represents a horizontal shift, which is Y is paired up with X. Because X deals with left to right movement, the side to side, left to right, okay? The horizontal movement. So we're adding or taking away so much to move it left to right that much, okay? So if we add 3, you're moving it right 3. If we subtract 3, we're moving it left 3, okay? So if H is a horizontal movement, what do we think K represents? The vertical movement, okay? That is a K. Apparently, I guess my K's look like ours. I don't know. I never heard that until this year, but I've heard it a lot this year now. That's how I've always drawn my K's. Thank you, Celeste. Somebody in the school understands me. Okay? I've always understood it as a K. I don't know. I've always drawn it
Why
like that.
wouldn't it be a V? How do you write your R?
I don't know, actually. I didn't look. I wrote myself a note on that, actually, because last class asked that too. I'm like, wait, I don't know. I didn't look that up.
Why don't you look it
How
up?
do I write my R's?
Well, because V could also stand for velocity, for volume.
What about you write a capital R?
Capital R.
that looks like a
Capital K.
cursive K.
What's a capital K?
Yeah.
No, like the K goes higher up.
What's your capital K?
Who's your lowercase?
Oh my gosh. And why is it?
Write it next to the R.
That literally looks
That's a
You're different.
lowercase K?
No.
Okay, enough of that. Okay, so H is the horizontal shift, R is the vertical shift. Okay, so let's practice this a little bit.
Vertical.
Did I make that up?
Oh. Ha. Oh look, now I'm confused.
Oh.
Good going.
Joke's on you, you were already confused. Okay? So rectangle QSRT with these vertices, and this is the shift we're doing, okay? So we're first gonna start off with graphing our 4 original points, just like we did before. So we can go ahead and graph those points. If you want to go grab a straight edge, a ruler, or a protractor, you're free to. Otherwise, you can use notebooks, papers, an extra pencil, a folder, a binder, a textbook, a phone, okay? Lots of things you can use straight edge, okay?
Itself.
Okay, so negative 6 comma negative 1.
My straight
How
hair.
many numbers on this
And
thing?
then it like
Pretty round. I know. Negative 3 comma 1.
Are my shoulders just
Round is the shape.
We're plotting points, we're plotting points, we're plotting points. Okay, so I plotted the original 4 points. Okay, hopefully you did the same. Right, Skylar? One below it. Okay. Turn myself into a pickle. One more you want.
Are they supposed to look fun?
I have this question.
It's
It's like,
not big
you
deal.
just grab the board. Okay, I know, but like, still. Because this is gonna happen in this section too, I already know. So when it says like something with the x-axis, like -3, why did it go this way?
Because those are all the points where x is equal to -3. Because x is equal to -3 here, -3 here, -3 here, -3 here, -3 here.
So, makes sense.
Okay, so now we said x comma y yields x plus 5, y plus 5. What are we doing with all the x values?
Huh?
Adding 5 to all the x values. Because we're moving this 5 to what direction?
X.
To the
Horizontal.
horizontal, so is that going left or right?
Right.
Right, because it's positive. How can we go both left and right?
You cannot. Can
Okay?
you?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes. Okay?
Possibly get
Because it ends up netting and move one way or the other. You move it left and then right. We can't do it at the same time.
Anything's
Yes.
possible.
Not anything.
No, not allowed to.
I'll talk about that option afterwards, just like we kind of did yesterday.
Anything's possible.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
Anything's possible.
I just thought I was down like
Alright, so
slung.
-6 plus 5 is
One.
-1. So the q prime x value is -1. Okay? I have to go through and do all the x's because I'm just adding 5 4 different times. -3 plus 5 is +2. 1 plus 5 is, and -2 plus 5 is
3.
3. Okay? I took care of my x values. Now we need the y values. What are we changing with the y? We're doing what? Adding 7 because we're going 7 which direction? Up or down?
Up.
Up. If we're adding, we're going up. Okay? So, Ian, what's -1 plus 7?
6.
Anybody? Okay.
Hold up.
Colton, what's 1 plus 7?
8.
8. Peyton, what's -5 plus 7? 5? 7, 9. Oh, nice. Okay. And Wyatt, what's -7 plus 7? 0. Big brain. Okay. So now we can plot these points. -1 comma 6.
What?
2 comma 8. Thank you. 6 comma 2. And 3 comma 0. Okay. So we ended up just taking this shape. We moved it 5 what direction?
Right.
To the right, and 7 what direction? Up, okay? Now, it might be easier for some of you, just kind of like we talked about during our warm-up, during our homework, during our lesson last time, to just go from the picture and say, oh, I'm moving R, 5 right, 7 up. Q, 5 right, 7 up. S, 5 right, 7 up. And T, 5 right, 7 up. And then to go through and do the coordinates. If it's easier for you to do it that way, do it that way. If it's easier for you to do it the way we just did, taking -6 plus 5, -3 plus 5, going through that way, do it that way. Whichever one's easier, that's what I want you to do. Okay? Grace.
Okay, so do we not have like the line of symmetry?
No, we're not reflecting it this time. Nope, we're just moving it. So it's like you're dragging it across.
Okay.
Yep, yep. So we're not reflecting the desk, we're not like flipping the desk over and saying I'm moving the desk one square this way. Okay. Sorry for your feet, buddy. Okay.
Don't
In case it would
care.
make them feel better, but that'd be weird. Okay. So, question number 1. Okay. Hey, let's do number 2, okay? Let's try number 2. But real quick before we start on number 2, what direction are we moving 3?
Negative.
Negative, so which way is that in this
Left.
case? Left. Which way are we moving 8?
Up.
Keep that in mind, okay? Let's try number 2, please. Once you are done with number 2 or have questions, I want you to raise your hand, okay? When you're done with number 2 or have questions, I want you to raise your hand. So you shouldn't just be sitting there idly. Because if you're stuck, I want you to ask questions. If you're done, I want you to raise your hand. Means it's dope and litty.
Are you going trick or treating, Mr. Coulson?
I wish.
I am.
I was telling my
I
girlfriend.
don't care.
I was telling my girlfriend that her and I should just take her younger sibling trick or treating, so I get an excuse to go get candy.
Bam.
But
What'd she say?
they don't want to go trick or treating.
Me and my friends are going to like the rich neighborhoods that
Nice.
like hand out the best candy.
Yeah, you got to. The ones that give out the full size candy bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Instead, I had to go buy candy so that way I can give out candy tonight for trick or treaters. I'm on the other side of it now.
They're gonna think you're crazy.
What are you trying to say,
Make sure
Grace?
you put a white van in front of your house.
Tinted windows.
No, it's not bad. It's just they
Hey,
might.
Wyatt, you want to check?
Negative 3.
I think you did it right. That was your plot. Read to the left, and up. So we go to the left and up. Shouldn't it be somewhere right here?
Mr. Coulson, this is correct.
Spot these.
Yeah.
Spot
Okay, so you ask what's the x?
That's a bet. Can't be
X
wrong.
plus
So
negative
negative 127 would be negative 1 this way, but 7 up.
I gotta plot it, but like is that?
Very
Oh,
good. I'm gonna check. Blessing must rings on that first pick. Blessing must rings on that first.
Done.
I did. I'm happy you were laying down check.
Maybe.
Can you do it right?
Yeah.
I did. I just
I have art skills.
Cool. Hey. Oh no, that is not right.
I don't even know what I created.
Ow. I kind of like
Hey.
die inside of
Checking.
I just keep
Soup is always the answer.
You know, maybe if you
No.
want us to rant, like
If you fail a test, you go to a teacher.
half of your students are
Why? Just
like,
fun.
it's just not their fault, it's just how
Oops.
it's too hot. Oops.
You're gonna fail that
It was
test.
said.
You're
I don't get it. Wait, say it over.
I said soup is the answer to everything. You're gonna fail your quiz in math. You're gonna fail your test, Mr. Howard.
It is though.
Yeah, soup always makes it good.
Yeah.
Like chili.
Look at how my mommy
Well, if
Just
it's
like
hot,
you.
it's hot,
Just like you.
Oh.
Grace is throwing some shade.
Gracie's always throwing shade.
No, I'm not.
You wanna bet?
Hey, you're always throwing shade at other people.
Hey, Colt, or excuse me, not Colt. Excuse me, I said the wrong name. Nolan, no. We're not using that word.
Shade?
Oh, I heard a different word. Sorry.
He said shade.
Okay, I already did.
Yeah, you said shade.
Yeah, he did
Sorry.
say shade.
I think it's the stash. The stash is coming. The stash is scaring me, bro.
It's
I thought you
You're
were
gonna be like,
just
hurry
like,
up, big guy. Like,
You're gonna run away.
always here.
I was thinking like 80s.
Oh yeah.
Should I go trick or treating just in shorts? I can literally
Oh my
go.
god. Hey, Mr. Costello, can you put on
I could be
glasses?
Sasquatch.
Like retro? Yeah, like he has big glasses.
I don't carry your
Like you would be like
Oh,
a guy
retro
with
looks
glasses.
like
though.
talking about?
Oh my gosh, no!
What?
I will never unsee that ever again.
Now?
What? What's that? What? I'm not repeating it. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
probably good idea.
What happened?
You didn't even hear it. I'm never gonna unsee that.
Okay, number 2. Triangle CDE with these vertices, okay? So let's first plot this triangle. 2, negative 1. 7, negative 4. And 4, negative 6. Okay. So now, we move it through all 3 to the left and 8 up. Negative 1, 4, and 1. And this becomes 2, 4, and 7. Okay. Now we plot these new points. E prime is there. E prime is here. And E prime is right here. And we graph this triangle. Okay, yes, Emily. Like you moved it one too far? Okay. Like, shoot out of my suit. Hold on, this one. Okay, you're doing
Nope. Like the series
Alright, question number 2 besides what's been asked. Okay? So we're actually going to move past 3, 4, 5, and 6 for now. And I want us to move into number 7. So if you flip the page, go on to number 7.
yours did though.
Okay? No.
Oh.
Okay? So we're going to write a rule describing the translation. So the translation's already done for us. Okay? The translation's already done for us, but we have to write the rule. Before, on our first 2 we just did, we were given the rule, and we actually carried out the translation. We moved it so far left or right, and we moved it so far up or down. Raise page.
I just want to get my pencil.
I understand that now. Sorry.
Thank you.
So we go from x comma y yields, and we have to say x plus whatever h is. Excuse me, I should draw a second parenthesis there. Comma y plus a second k. You don't have to write this part down, but it's just a good reminder that this is how our rules are formatted. So we say from our originals, how do we get to our primes? From our original, how do we get to our primes? Well, are we moving left or right?
Right.
Right. Okay, so we're going to be adding or subtracting the x. Adding to the x, okay? So we're going to have x comma y yields x plus something. How far to the right are each of these points moving? Don't blur, but raise your hand and tell me how far to the right these points are moving. Okay, you can draw it on your paper.
What does that have to do with the
It's on your paper as well.
It's not necessarily to the right.
Okay? So how far to the right are these points moving? Just horizontally, okay? Sam, what do you have? 7, x plus 7, okay? So then we ask, what's happening to y, okay? So go ahead and count and tell me what's happening to our y. We have y plus or minus and then whatever, okay? So raise your hand if you want to tell me that. Don't flirt, though, don't flirt, okay?
Wait, I just have a question, not the answer.
What's your question?
How do we tell which one we started with and we're not going from the top one to the bottom?
That's a great question, okay?
Thank
So
you.
our new ones have always been the primes, haven't they?
Oh, I
That's going to
didn't see
continue
that.
to be the
Okay.
case. That's a great question. Okay?
Yeah, I
It's going to be a
didn't see
common mix-up, okay? Emily. It'd be y plus 4. Very good. Okay? Means we go to the right 7, up 4, okay? So that would be our rule.
Okay,
Okay.
so how do we know we go to the right side? Where are you starting to count to go
Okay.
over?
It's a great question, okay? So we go from any of our original points. So if we go from like our original D to our new D, we know we go right 7, up 4 from here to here. From P to E or F to F. Okay? Yeah, it's a great question. Nolan.
Can you do like subtraction or addition problems? Like, because we're gonna have like bigger things at one point where it's gonna be like 30 or 50 or 100.
I mean, sure, but we aren't going to have it that big. If we want to, you can. You do like this point minus this point. I want you guys to do number 8 on your own. Once you have number 8 or have questions, I want you to raise your hand. Okay?
We're finding the rule.
Okay.
Why?
Make sure they're right.
Check mine.
I was before the accident with minus. Children walking up there. Children.
There it is.
No, check mine, please. Will you check
Brandon,
mine?
can you check?
Oh, I said neither.
Alright. I knew you.
Okay, I'll do it right now.
It doesn't matter.
But I hope not.
You just can't play with me. Because you missed like 1 day. He's not on purpose, man. Oh, because we didn't want to.
I wish we were the 13th seed.
Did you guys just get different competitions? Like I might actually play.
Get off me, boy.
Hey guys, quiet down, please.
Well, I can't hear what you're saying.
Five.
You want to touch my butt? So this is something weird. I looked there. She asked me a question like, "You want to touch my butt?" No, I didn't say.
Colton, I think you can do this one with me. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do her.
You do a lot.
Not that I'm noticing.
Where's the deal? Found it.
You know, the red beans, they're like that Chinese stuff.
Cold. Reenact that wheel to me in Hawaii. Alright. They were no wheel. They were in a range. They were in like a Ranger and Vader at Max's. It's a huge cliff. All the wheels are off around here. Hits
Outside.
hands on the front of the Vader. Levi's phone is bouncing around. We get all four hits. Quiet. Quiet.
Alright, so Colton got this one. He said it's x minus 4 comma y plus 2. X plus x comma y yields x minus 4 y plus 2 Casey.
I got the opposite of that.
Okay, so we gotta be careful. We're going from our original m to our m prime. So it's a little bit tricky because we're starting on the right, now we're going left. Does that make sense?
Wait, there's a difference from where you start? I felt like it didn't matter.
No, because here's the thing. Because if we put x plus 4, that means we're gonna take this, and we're actually gonna end up over here.
Yeah, but as you go right,
No, I'm right.
They go
Just shut
positive. Yeah, so that,
So that's why it's -4 because we're going left.
But if you started from the top, you still end up at the
well, you
bottom.
didn't say
From the
where,
bottom
you didn't
down
say
to
where it was
here.
coming from though.
Started from the
Cause I thought it was coming from the top to the over there.
We did say where it's coming from, but I'll explain that again. Okay? So we start from our original and we go to the prime. So our primes always are our final, our ending, where we end. The
How do you
normal
see
is where we start.
How do you see which one's the principal?
You look on your paper and it says
Oh, it's
M
got-
prime, N prime, O prime, T prime. I'm
Oh,
not trying to be sarcastic there. I'm just trying to say it back. I'm sorry if I came across sarcastic.
it's alright, Dwight.
Swans.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, those are our new ones, yeah.
Question.
Those are after we do whatever transformation you're doing, whether that's reflecting or a translation like today. Okay, no one.
What bears best?
False. Black there. Okay.
But
That
if
is
you
not
started at the
correct.
top one, and you like did like
Yeah,
plus
bears
four,
best.
wouldn't you still end up with
If
the
you were to
bottom
start
one?
with the top one, yes, but we're starting at this bottom right one because that these are the original weights.
So why does it matter where you start?
Because that way, because if you tell us, if I'm saying, okay, like how do you get from Bellevue to Plattsmouth, and you give me directions from Plattsmouth to Bellevue, I'm not gonna end up in the right place.
Well, yeah, then you just have to think about it backwards.
Yeah.
You can just reverse.
So, but would you give me the directions and then I'd have to think about it backwards, or would you give me the directions already backwards?
Both.
So you wouldn't tell me, so if I was in Bellevue and I'm like, hey Casey, how do I get down to Plattsmouth High School? You wouldn't tell me, oh, well, I would go up Highway 75 north, and then I'm like, well, now what? So I go up Highway 75, I'm gonna get further away. So you have to tell me, oh, you go south, okay? So it's important to know which way we're coming from, which way we're going.
Study.
Yes, but it's the same principle there. That's why we have to know though.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we end up in the wrong direction.
Oh, math.
Because if you give me x plus 4, y minus 2, I'm gonna take this picture and I'm gonna end up down here where my hand is. Does that make sense at all?
Wait, why is the 4 next minus?
Oh my
Okay, did you guys go
God.
over that? My apologies.
So this is normal m, this is m prime.
Why is
Normal n, n prime. Normal o prime, normal p, p prime with the apostrophes. So those are our ending destinations every time. Okay. Let's continue on. We're going to look at number 9 here for a moment, okay? So number 9 here for a moment. We're doing a couple different transformations at once. And not at once, you get into the same problem. We're gonna do it step by step. We'll go through a couple different transformations, okay? So
There's gonna be 3 shapes.
We take- we take a triangle, x, y, z. We're first gonna plot it just like we have been. Our first step's the same, just to plot. So we're gonna do a -3, 7 for x, -2, 1 for y, and -5, 2 for z. We're gonna plot that one just like we would normally. Okay. Then, after we plot that one normally, what are we asked to do in step A? Reflect over the x-axis, okay? We're asked to do a reflection over the x-axis, okay? Hold your hands out for which way that would mean. Is that this or this? Okay? That is this, okay? So what's moving our x is moving, are we moving our hand left to right? Or are we moving it, our fingers up and down? Up and down, so the y's are changing, okay? So the y's are changing. So we're gonna be having the dashed line here over our x-axis to show us where we are reflecting over. So we're gonna finish the reflection, then after we do the reflection, we will translate, okay? What I like to do is I like to do somewhat kind of like my scratch work right off to the side here. Personally, I like to do my scratch work off to the side here, okay? So if I'm reflecting these, like we said, the x's are staying the same, but the y's are becoming negative. So the x's stay the same, and the y's now become negative.
Didn't we already learn this?
Yeah, we're combining what we did last class with what we learned just a moment ago. Yeah, great question, okay?
Wait,
So-
so did I do it wrong then? I finished it?
Maybe. I don't know without looking, but so we'll plot this soft or this like in between step here, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna plot it and I'm gonna connect them with a dashed line. I'm gonna connect them with a dashed line. And the reason why is because I want this one to stand out that this is kind of just our work in progress. This is just kind of like our scratch work. So I want our scratch work to kind of be set apart from our final answer, okay?
Rough draft.
Yeah, it's kind of like a rough draft. It's kind of like in the middle. It's in between step. Okay?
Okay, so
Yes.
okay, so it says though x plus 9.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
y plus
So that comes afterwards.
What?
So we first have to reflect it, and then we shift it. Okay? Because if we shift and reflect, that's different.
What if you do both at the same time?
So you can't do both at the same time.
Yeah, you can. Like, legitimately in person, you can roll while moving at the same time. While, like, changing the course,
Okay? Then you get confused about where you're moving. Like on what direction it's supposed to end up in, that kind of stuff. So when we go step by step, it helps us making sure we end up in the right direction. So
Okay.
I get what you're saying. Okay. So now after we reflected it, it's kind of like, oh, check, we reflected it. Now we're gonna take these and we're gonna do our translation now, just like we learned. So we're gonna move every one of these pink points, not the green, the pink, our rough draft ones, 9 to the right. So negative 3 plus 9 is 6. Negative 2 plus 9 is 7. Negative 5 plus 9 is 4. Then we're going to move them all to up.
Can you slow down just 1 second? Please. Okay,
Homework.
so
Negative 5,
don't
1, and 0.
Good.
okay, can you go over how you got that?
Okay, so we took these. This is what we learned earlier today. We took the pink and we moved them 9 to the right
Okay, yeah.
and 2 up. Okay.
Okay.
So now we'll plot these points and we're going to connect the shape just like we've been connecting shapes. The solid line there, okay? So 6 comma negative 5. That's x prime. 7 comma 1, that's y prime. And 4 comma 0, which is z prime. Okay?
For my reflection, I didn't put the dotted thing. I just put one dash next to the letter, and for the translation, I put 2 dashes.
What is the?
Okay, if you want to do that, I'd be okay with that. But if we-
So this reflected
it in.
and
Okay. Yeah, some people like coloring them in. If you want to, I guess that's okay.
What's the relevancy of having the dash one?
Okay, why do we have the dash one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have the dash one just to signify this was our work in progress one. So we did this because that's the reflection. So we had to reflect it and translate it. So we took care of the reflection and then we translated it.
okay, so we did both
And then we shifted it. Yeah, we ended up doing
in
both.
one
So
step.
doing the reflection doesn't help anything.
No.
It's
we
just
it's
easier
just
because-
it's just 2 steps in this one. Yeah, this time we have 2 steps. Okay.
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 Are there only 2 spaces across from each other?
What was that? So hey, I also have this question sometimes, and this is going back to I want you to do with your preference on these, okay? If it's easier for you just to do the like the pink dashes like I do here, and then go to the solid blue, without doing this pink that I'm circling right now with my pen, okay? Then don't do the pink. I'd be okay with that. If it's easier for you to do the pink solid, like the pink that I'm doing with my pen, and then go to the blue like this that I'm circling, the numbers, and then go to the picture, do that, okay? So if you wanted, you'd only have to do one of these 2 pinks, but I just want you to do whichever one makes the most sense for you again, okay? So if it's confusing you to do both, but like Ms. Cross, like, hey, the picture makes sense, the numbers don't, you do the picture, then you get your numbers from the blue, I'm fine with that.
I don't know how you do that without doing
I'm not very good at that either, which is why I do this.
Okay.
To me, it makes more sense this way.
How would you do it not that way?
I believe
Just
like,
like a quick
I mean, I think
like
some of us in here are more aligned that way. Like I think Casey and Jillian, from what I've noticed so far, maybe Emily as well. Okay, just from kind of what I've seen, maybe some of you others as well, just from what I've seen though. That it just sticks out more like, oh, it's just naturally that's where those go if you reflect it over that axis.
Yeah.
Like there's just something to where For them, that's fairly straightforward. For me, it's not. For them, it is.
But how do you go from that over to the blue? That's my question.
Uh,
Because I do that
counting?
too, where I can just.
are you guys counting?
I like
Okay.
like outside.
So they count
Okay.
from here to here.
But the thing is, the counting isn't that reliable when you have like 50 spaces,
But we're not going to move in 50 spaces.
like ever.
Not here. You want me to put one on there for it?
Well, I figured you're gonna have like a challenge question or
There's like
something.
a bonus question. Just for him.
Okay.
Hold back.
Okay. Questions on that one, guys, besides what's been asked? Those are good questions. Okay? So now, for our last example, guys, we're going to go to number 11. Okay? Actually, scratch that. We're going to go to number 12. Okay? Scratch number 11, we're going to go to number 12. Okay? And I changed number 12 because it has less points. Okay? Just to make it shorter for you guys. Okay? So, we're going to try number 12. What's changing here with number 12? Are we doing the reflection or translation first? We're doing the translation first, okay? So for number 12, we'll still plot these points, start off with. We'll still do G is negative 1, 6. H is negative 1, 3. And then I is negative 6, 6. So we have a triangle here like this, and the light blue. And this time for our work in progress, okay, we're doing a translation. So this time for a work in progress, we do our translation, and then for our final, we do the reflection after that of the line y equals negative 3. Line y equals negative 3.
So.
Okay?
So we're gonna move it to the bottom, then flip it.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to translate it. Okay? Because it's asking in different order this time. We're just getting used to being able to do them in both orders.
You
Okay?
can make this look like Santa Claus, or like a, or one of those little gooses, one of those long.
Oops.
Oh, like a hat?
Yeah. Like think about the Patriot symbol. You can make that.
Good, good. Okay, this is the weirdest flex. But yes, I like being creative. I do. Okay? So for our work in progress, once again, I'm gonna write it out with the numbers. That's what makes sense to me. If it makes more sense for you just to count it out and do it, the soft one on there, go ahead and do your rough draft that way, okay? So negative 1 plus 7 is 6. Negative 1 plus 7 is 6 again. And negative 6 plus 7 is 1. And then 5. No. 6 minus 5 is 1. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. And 6 minus 5 is 1.
How are you getting this?
Quick maths.
Oh,
Negative 1 plus
okay.
7.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Translation. Okay? 2 plus 2, that's 4 minus 1, that's 3. Quick maths.
Your man's not hot.
Hand's not hot. It's true.
Then we do a reflection over the.
So, the pink is our kind of rough draft there, okay? So whether you do it by what I did here, or just by the picture, we should have the same thing. Okay, I want to make sure everybody's at the same thing with their rough draft. Okay, it's gotta get the same place as I am. Okay, did you do the rough draft as well? Okay, dope. Okay, thank you for having plotted the original points. I appreciate that. Okay, so we'll put a pink check. We did the translation. Okay, now we're reflecting over the line y equals negative 3. Okay, y equals negative 3. That's gonna be down here. That's where y is negative 3. And all of these running left to right are the points where y is equal to negative 3. Okay. Casey. Let me continue with this. We'll see. Okay. I appreciate your eagerness. Okay.
Well, why is there a dotted line right now?
Actually.
So we can translate.
Oh.
Negative 3.
We can just translate.
You're right. I'd love to hear you explain.
We're gonna reflect now, aren't we?
I got it.
I think it'd be awesome to hear your point of view because it's different than how I teach it. But you can explain how you got to do the pictures. Okay.
Oh wait.
Well, that is 3 down. It doesn't make sense, dude. Oh, wait, no.
Alright. So
That looks cool.
thank you for going to encourage Casey to, but no phones. Okay. So We're going how far away are you from the line y equals -3? Well, if we're flipping over this way, are the x's or the y's changing?
Wise.
The y's, so the x's are staying the same. So the x's are still 6, 6, and 1. Okay? So we can just say, how far away are we from this now? Okay, how far are we away y-wise?
Is that right?
Okay. This is how far away from this point.
1.
1. So how far away is it going to be down this way?
1.
1. So G prime is, actually that's the wrong one. That's H prime. I don't confuse myself. So H prime is 6, -4.
6. Can points share a point?
And
I don't know how to say it.
points have the same coordinates?
Yes.
Yes, but they won't here.
What?
Okay. So then we say, how far is this one away? 1, 2, 3, 4 away. That's be 1, 2, 3, 4 away down here. So G prime is going to be 6, -7. Thank you.
Wait, we're doing it how far is with actual x?
How far away is from our reflection line? Like
Okay, so which one are we at -3 to?
So okay, so we were reflecting over the line y equals -3. So we're saying it has to be the same distance from this line on both sides. So this G up here was 4 away. So it has to be 4 away this side, which makes it -7. H had to be 1 away, so it's 1 away on this side, -4. Okay. How far away is I currently? 4. So how far away does I have to be this way? 4. So it's going to be down here as well. -7.
Perfect.
Done.
Math wise, that'd be 6 minus 3. So we try that again. 1 minus 3 is let me try that again. Excuse me. Okay. 1 minus a -3 would be 4. So it'd be 4 away. How far away is 1 from -3? 4. How far away is -2 away from -3? 1. How far is 1 away from -3? 4. So that's how far they have to be away again. Okay. Questions over that one? Okay. Homework? Yeah. Get some work done.
Oh, wow. Actually,
Get some work done today.
well, these kind of nice questions, solid work time.
I need you to be quiet.
10-4,
Don't call me Becky. That's disrespectful.
Sorry.
There's that one. Sorry. Yep.